time for Money Talk, brought to you by the NuMark Credit Union. Michelle Balog is here, Executive Vice President for NuMark Credit Union. Hello, Michelle. How are you?
Great. Thank you.
Thanks for coming in this morning. Good to see you.
You too.
Yeah, we're here, and we're going to be talking today about estate planning. Before we get into that, anything new going on at NuMark you want to let us know about?
Of course, there's always new things going on at NuMark. We're here because we're promoting actually an event for estate planning, and our guest is going to be one of the speakers for that event, and we're always here to help our members in the community.
All right. Well, we're going to be introducing you to Karyn Vanderwaren here in just a couple of moments, but we do want to remind you, NuMark Credit Union wants to give away a couple of Baker's Square pie cards. So in the next several minutes in our conversation, we are going to give you the answer to a question. What is that question? Well, we don't know yet. We'll pick something that Karyn tells us. She's going to impart a lot of wisdom on us. Pressure's on, Karyn, all right?
All right.
All right, good. You'll be fine. She's going to impart a lot of wisdom on us. We're going to take one piece of information that she gives us. We'll ask that question. And if you're the first caller at 254-7300, you're going to win 2 Baker's Square pie cards to Baker's Square. We do want to remind you also that you can go further faster when you refinance your current auto loan with NuMark. Whether you're looking to save money or get more bang for your buck, refinancing could be a great option to consider. Enjoy NuMark's personalized service and exceptional rates today. For more information, give NuMark a call at 815-729-3211 or visit their website at newmarkcu.org. That's newmarkcu.org. So let's start off, and we'll end also, Michelle, with this seminar that is free for all to attend. Where is it going to be, and when is it going to be on estate planning?
Okay, that will be on Saturday, September 28th at the New Lenox Public Library from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. You can call or visit our website to register.
Okay, pretty simple and free. We love free. We absolutely love free. Well, Michelle, let's talk a little bit about estate planning. When you are advising people, and you're in the financial industry, when you're advising people, a lot of folks worry about their 401k, and they worry about, some insurance and life insurance maybe, and obviously health insurance. But estate planning sometimes takes, the back of the bus. People don't think about it.
Correct. So we have oftentimes members will come in and want us to give them advice on what to do with their money. And while we can give you financial tips, a lot of it is legal advice. And we highly recommend that everyone, and not when you're 80, you should start planning this. I recommend especially if you get married or have children, that's the best time to really hit home with that estate planning. But we love when our members have attorneys that send us over all the documents, nice and perfect, and tell us exactly how they want it. If they don't do that, we will work with them to try and come up with the best plan. But there are so many options, and it really does depend on what your financial situation is,
Sure.
because it can be affected by taxes and, second marriages. We were here just not that long ago talking about divorce with one of our other partners, Gwen Sturck, and that can play a huge role if you have mixed marriages with multiple children and grandchildren and real estate. And so that's where an expert like Karyn comes into play when it comes to estate planning.
Well, let's bring her in. She has law offices in Palos and Hinsdale. It's Karyn Vanderwaren, attorney at law. Hi, Karyn.
Hi, good morning.
Thanks for coming in this morning. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
So how long have you been an attorney, and why did you choose estate planning as one of your specialties?
So I started as an attorney in 2003, and it just sort of morphed. I just noticed lots of clients having this need. I was doing a lot more real estate and business planning, and they had a lot of need for that. And I'm a CPA, too, so it sort of just fell hand in hand.
So you're a CPA and a lawyer.
Yes.
We have a smart person other than just you in here.
Yeah, I don't have the CPA. So.
So we have 2 smart people, and it's not the guy that you're listening to right now. So estate planning, we did our estate when it was weird because, first child, we go on vacation for the first time without the kids. That's when we got around to doing our estate. So I guess better late than never, but it really does give you peace of mind. And I think there's probably just a small reason, peace of mind, why it's so important. You have better reasons.
I think that peace of mind is really important. And when you said that, I was thinking on my way in this morning how many calls I get of, it's Monday morning, I'm leaving out of town on Wednesday for vacation, and I need my estate plan done. By then, can you do it? So, and I always say, just go on vacation, don't die, and call me when you get back.
So we can't do it in 2 days then, right?
There you go.
No.
But so why is an estate plan important is what you were asking me.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times people don't like talking about the downside, dying or getting sick. And having an estate plan in writing really helps to let your loved ones know what your wishes are, who you want to handle things, what things you have. So that's a big piece. And then if it's written down, it helps to avoid disputes.
Right.
So
that's the big
huge.
thing. Yeah, your money's going to go where you want it to go. And when you hear the phrase estate plan, you may say, well, wait a minute. When I picture an estate, I picture a big white house with a picket fence up on a hill with oak trees all over the place and a 5-car garage. That's an estate. What I have isn't an estate, but it truly is. So that's why the plan is important, because it's everything that you have written down, what you want to happen with it.
Exactly. So it's true. You don't need to have a big mansion or anything. Your estate can be your bank accounts, your home, your car. All of those things need to be accounted for, and it helps a lot to just figure out what you want to happen with those assets when you pass away or when you get sick.
Yeah, if you have $1 million or $100, that's still considered an estate, right, Karyn?
That's true.
Okay. So let's get to that point that people fear. They fear dying without an estate plan. What happens if that happens?
So when you pass away without an estate plan, then the question of who handles your assets when you die is up in the air. So that's a big question. And then the other issue is who gets your things. So that's all determined by the Illinois Probate Act. And a lot of people think the state will just get your money, which isn't true. But the way the act may say your money goes may not be the way you'd want it to. So, for example, if you die and you have a spouse and children, half goes to your children, half goes to your spouse of any probate assets. Imagine like your 18-year-old who wants to buy a new Corvette, and there you are, wanting to keep your house, and so you actually will have to share your assets as the spouse with those children. So that would be probably for most people an undesirable result.
Okay. All right. There's other things there's all kinds of ways we can go with this here, Karyn, but at the end of the day, your wishes will not be conveyed exactly the way you want them in most cases if you do not have the estate, correct?
That's right.
And that's a shame, too, because you worked your entire you know this, Michelle. You work your entire life. You think you have everything taken care of, but if you don't have it officially down on paper, somebody else could come in and decide what to do with your money, and that'd make me roll over.
It's tough, and we've experienced that. There's nothing worse than the 80-year-old widow who comes in to collect the money out of the bank account that her husband's had at NuMark for 50 years, and he did not put her down as the beneficiary, and it's over the small estate affidavit amount, and we have to break that news that you're going to probably have to probate that estate.
Right.
All right, well, let's get to probate. What is it, and why do we want to avoid it like the plague, Karyn?
So I think that we don't need to avoid it like the plague. It's not the end of the world, but it's way better if you've done an estate plan. So what probate is the court process where the court will be involved in determining if your assets were reported correctly, etc., who's going to manage the estate, and they keep their eye on the estate. And of course it adds costs because you're paying an attorney,
sure,
court fees, publication fees. So it also opens the door, it makes it much easier for court disputes to happen compared to if you have an estate plan in place.
Is there anything good about probate?
Well, I guess you can cut off claims from people that you owe money to. So once a probate case is opened, 6 months after the date the notice is published, you can cut off claims from creditors. So I guess if there's a lot of debt for an estate, that would be possibly a good route to go. But generally, most people prefer to avoid the probate process.
Avoid it altogether. Okay. Do you have the worst case you've ever heard of or you've ever had to work with before? Do you have any examples of how bad it could be?
I have a really sad case I'm working on right now. It was an elderly lady. She's leaving all of her money to charity, and she was just so sick and didn't have any family to help her. And she passed away recently, and we're trying to sort through her estate, and there's no one to help, and she didn't really get around to correctly doing her estate plan, so it's been very difficult.
That's tough.
It's
What
tough.
will happen then, worst case scenario, if you are not successful, what will happen with that money?
Well,
It's not going to charity, in other words.
Well, it will go to charity, but because she didn't do certain things correctly, it's going to take a lot longer to get it there, and it's going to take a lot more time and expense. And the people that she wanted to have help are not able to help. So I think she was just so sick that she couldn't get things properly set up.
Okay. How long does it take from that first phone call when you call Karyn Vanderwaren at the law offices of Karyn Vanderwaren in Palos or Hinsdale? How long does it take from start to finish to get this done?
Normally it takes about 30 days from the day you call, and much of it is just dependent on your schedule, so it doesn't take that long.
So 30 days. And what do you need to bring with you? What kind of information do you need to exchange with the person who wants an estate?
So it's helpful to have the name, address, and phone number of the people that you want to manage your estate, and also a very simple list of what you have just to help start the conversation. But I always tell people it's more important to get moving. Some people put off estate planning because they feel like they're not organized, and I sort of, if they don't have that, I tell them, let's come in and meet so we can get you moving forward.
Yeah, and it's not as, I think, Michelle, maybe you can jump in here too. I don't and after I went through it, it's not really that big a deal.
It's not.
You look at your savings account, your checking account, your retirement account. You should have all that paperwork in a file anyway.
Correct.
Any 401ks that you have through your company, any other investments, any IRAs, your home. I'm sure that information. Am I missing anything?
That's probably it. Keeping it all in one place is a great idea. It makes it easier on your spouse should you pass away or your children, and letting your attorney know what you have helps too, because sometimes at the time of death, people are distraught, obviously, especially if it happens unexpectedly. And your attorney may be able to say, someone like Karyn would say, oh, what about this bank account that they had when I did this? And then all of a sudden the kids will go, oh, yeah, let me go over there and, see if I can find that statement.
Right, exactly.
That can be very time-consuming, is trying to corral all the assets if they're all over the place, too.
Very true.
Karyn, does giving to charity relate to estate planning as well?
It does. You can plan to give to charity through a will, a trust, or even through your IRA accounts. Sometimes there's tax benefits to doing it, naming a beneficiary as the charity versus putting it in the will. And you can also say, if I want to leave a certain amount to my kids, but if I have more money, I want it to go to charity. So you can adjust your will or your trust so that it says, gee, if I have X amount of money, I can give it to charity. But if I don't, I just want everything to go to my kids, or however you want.
All right. So I'm going to give a little bit to my kids. I'm going to give some to charity, and I'm going on a bunch of vacations as I get older. So
there you go. So get the will done before you go on vacation.
I'm joking. Now, I haven't looked at my will in a while. That's probably a mistake, too. Do I need to go back and freshen it up?
It's not a bad idea to do it, and some attorneys say every 5 years, and that's fine. I think when you have some major life events, so if someone dies, if you get a divorce, if you come into an inheritance or some money, once people start having grandchildren, they have different ideas too. So those are some triggers. All
right, very good. Michelle, tell us the difference, and this all will make sense. It seems like it's coming from out of left field, but it really isn't. Tell us the difference between a joint account or an account of convenience, because this could make this whole process easier.
Right. So a joint account is what most married adults have, where each of you owns the account equally. So if something happens to one spouse, the other, whether it's disability or death, the other spouse can conduct business on that account without any problem. Upon death, it goes to that individual. An account of convenience is where we may have a power of attorney, which is highly recommended, especially if you have multiple children and you want to determine which child is going to take control of that account should you become incapacitated in the hospital, unable to get to the credit union. So a power of attorney is obviously the best choice. If it's a closer, I, for instance, am an only child. I'm joint with my dad on his account. That's just the easiest way to do it. It becomes a payable on death account when he passes away, plus I can conduct all of his business on his checking and savings accounts. So that can be an account of convenience. I don't recommend it when there's multiple children that, you're going to trust that one, your favorite son is going to make sure that his siblings all get that money split up when you pass away. That's not the best choice for an account of convenience, is to add a joint unless you truly mean for that person to have all that money. But as I said before, our favorite, especially when it's an elderly person, is that they come in with paperwork drawn up by a licensed attorney, such as Karyn. That helps us to make sure that the paperwork is done exactly the right way, because what we cannot do is give legal advice at the credit union.
Right.
So we can't, tell you, well, this would be the best option for you. We always encourage beneficiaries as opposed to single ownership of an account without a payable on death beneficiary. And if you have 10 kids, we'll put all 10 kids on there. And when you pass away, we'll be happy to cut that check out to 10 different people.
10 different people. You got it. So you're going to help them pick the right account.
Correct.
Okay, good. Karyn, what about transferring real estate outside of probate, for example? Give us the lowdown on that.
So there's a number of things that are available. So before you pass away, you can actually name a beneficiary now for real estate and record that wish with the county recorder. And then when you pass away, your beneficiaries just say, yep, I accept, and they can take the real estate. That's called a transfer on death instrument. You can also use trusts and land trusts. So there's a few different ways to avoid probate with real estate.
All right. Let's talk about some misconceptions when it comes to your job and estates in general.
Well, so one of the things that I've had a few funny things come up. I have a couple cases, I don't know why, but the executor thinks for some reason that if they wait for all the people under the will to die, that they're going to get all the money. So that would be a misconception. The other one I mentioned earlier was some people think if you don't have an estate plan, the state will take your money, which isn't really true, but the state will determine how your money gets distributed, which, again, probably not a desirable result. And another thing is guardianship. So powers of attorney are part of an estate plan, and you can avoid having to do additional proceedings, guardianship proceedings in a court if you have a properly laid out power of attorney. So I don't know that that's a misconception, but that's just something helpful for people out there to know.
All right. So what are the next steps? You've got people interested now. How can people move forward, and even how can they contact you?
The best thing to do is to get in touch with an estate planning attorney. And if you wanted to reach out to me, I have a website, vdwlaw.com, or they could give me a call at 708-839-9622, and we could set up a time to meet.
Or I'm guessing, Michelle, you can meet her in person on the 28th, right, of September?
Absolutely.
That's true, too.
The New Lenox Public Library.
Okay. So, again, free for all to attend an estate planning seminar series coming up. It's free. Do not have to be a NuMark Credit Union. Write this down. Saturday, September 28th, New Lenox Public Library, 12 to 2. You can call NuMark or visit their website if you would like to register, and that's 815-729-3211, or you can visit them online at NuMarkCU, that's NuMarkCU.org.
Correct.
Did we get everything in, Karyn?
I think we did. Thanks.
Whew, we did it.
We did it.
That's a pretty heavy topic. No, it is. You know what? And it's
an
one
important one.
It is. We don't talk about it enough. We truly don't. I mean, everybody's worried about retirement and 401k and this or that, but you work your butt off your entire life, and then if you don't put it down on paper what you want to happen with that, then, I'm not saying that work will be for naught and your people won't get the money, but still, it's going to take a long time in some cases.
And again, if you're young and you have children, that's the most important time to set up your will so that you can direct what happens
to your kids.
Yes, because that crazy aunt you have may end up with custody of your kids, and that was never your intention.
No,
so.
and Karyn, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you can go into see a judge and go, well, I'm the godparent. That supersedes everything. That is not the way to go.
No, that's the old way of thinking, but that's not how it works in the courts.
All right. So NuMark Credit Union, thank you very much. Karyn Vanderwaren from the law offices of Karyn Vanderwaren, Michelle Balog, Executive VP for NuMark Credit Union. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, we appreciate that. All right, here's the question today. Now, we asked Karyn this earlier. From start to finish, how long does it take to get your estate set up? She told us earlier, from the moment you contact her until the moment you're done, usually she'd give herself X number of days. What does X equal? 815-254-7300 is the phone number. And don't forget, folks, go further, faster when you refinance your current auto loan with NuMark. Whether you're looking to save money or get more bang for your buck, refinancing can be a great option to consider. Enjoy NuMark's personalized service and exceptional rates today. For more information, give NuMark a call at 815-729-3211 or visit their website at NuMarkCU.org. That's NuMarkCU.org. First correct caller wins 2 Baker's Square Pie cards from NuMark Credit Union.
truck could even run